Hey! All right, I'm doing what I hope that you are doing, and it's called sharing. Yes, sharing is caring. What do leaders do? Leaders share. And so, what I need you to do, I'm getting ready to be even more specific this week. And I know some of y'all don't know me, but I just need you to trust me for a second. And then I will introduce myself, tell you all about me, all the good things. But one, I need you to share. Have you done? Are you sharing? Okay. Before you finish sharing, I need you to not only share, I need you to tag some folks. Mhm. If you are on here only because you know the local Toni show, you already know, you know Toni, get the tag. If you are on here because you like me and or you're just nosy, get the tagging. Go ahead. It's gonna be worth your while. Just so tag when you share when you tag. Do all of that. You got me. Did you handle that business? Great. All right, for those of you all who are like, who is this crazy lady giving me instructions and I don't even know her like that? Welcome. Welcome. I am Dr. Renita. Hello, somebody. And I am excited to be here with you for Leadership Live 2021, week 40. It's really episode 40, or it's the 40th week of me doing this with other people. It's episode 40. I actually owe you 2 episodes now because illness is real, life is real. So 2 guests I ended up missing, but we're gonna catch that up. I've already talked to them. We're gonna work that out. So it's episode 40. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Leadership Live, what is it? It's the sharing of journeys. It's a sharing of journeys, leadership journeys, and leadership in every single capacity, no matter what you think about, no matter what industry it is, even industries that you don't think of as industries, such as parenting. That is an industry. They have leaders, all of them. Your life, period, has a leader, and hopefully it's you. Not everybody's story, right? Right. But we share journeys. In 2019, I started this. I did it all by myself for 52 weeks. And in those 52 weeks, I shared 52 different lessons that I learned from my leadership journey. And where I thought that was over and done in 2019, God tapped me on my shoulder at the end of 2020 and said, you need to do it again. And I said, God, what? I gave 52 stories. I giving them the best that I got. I gave them the best that I had. And God said, boo, did I say you had to do this alone? No. By the way, find you some other folks. Find you 52 people who would be sharing with you. And so here we are in 2021, now in our 40th episode of Leadership Live with Dr. Renita and friends. And so I have been so excited to come to you for now 39 past weeks, and here's week 40. And I told y'all I'm taking a risk again. The last time I took a risk on somebody, it turned out okay. It was my husband. My God, I was a little afraid, but it turned out all right. Well, this week I'm bringing you another friend. Just be ye also ready. But for those of you all who are here for that friend and you know her, but you don't know me, Dr. Renita, I am an educational leadership strategist. And what that means is that I love to work with aspiring and growing leaders to become more authentic in their leadership, to empower their followership, and at the end of the day, make a major and amazing impact on the world. I am also an authoress, the author of Stepmom, Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs, editions 1 and 2, as well as While You're Sleeping, The Perfect Children of All Ages book. And if I am a stepmom, just know that I am still married to that dude who made me a stepmom. I am a wife and mother of four. I birthed 2 and I own 2. And both those children, all 4 of those children, help to inspire both of my books. And so it is my mommy journey that really helps me propel forward. I am also a veteran educator, having served grades kindergarten through college. I am a coach. So in my leadership strategy work, I coach. I love one-on-one coaching. I think it is some of my most fulfilling work right now. I work with people on their leader, the journey to leading like you. And I love it. I love my coaching clients. And yes, I am open to taking more clients, at least right now. I won't be for ever. So just know if you want a spot, you need to get your spot. I am also the founder of The Refining Life, a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide you with experiences to have your mindset shifted so that you can lead a more positive life. And I'm also a queen, hello, and a queen. I am the current reigning Elite Southern Charms, North Carolina, Ultimate Grand Supreme, and now for my third year of reign, I am Mrs. Black, North Carolina. This pandemic has given me quite a stretch, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last, and so I am going to flex it for all that it is. And so this week, oh my goodness. Okay, so first and foremost, she is one of the busiest women that I know. Second, she is one of the most talented women that I know. Third, she drives me bananas, but I love her anyway. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to bring her on into the stream. Here she is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will join me in welcoming the Toni Shaw.
You talk too much.
I know how he's going to say it. Build a bridge and get over it. What I do.
You talk way too much. You
Welcome
got to
to
talk
my
in your
Toni gets
sleep.
on my last nerve. Here we go. She don't care. My high risk, she's a high risk guest. I brought her on anyway. What the ham sandwich am I thinking?
I tried to stay. I tried not to. I tried not to be here tonight.
You did, but unfortunately, one, you told me you would do it months ago.
No.
Yeah, she's one who.
You
Oh,
told
yes,
me.
you did.
You told me I would do it.
But you told me October 18th in January.
You told me I would do it months ago.
I did, but you picked the date.
Because I had no choice.
And you thought I was going to forget.
Oh, no, I knew you wouldn't forget. I was hoping I would forget.
It wouldn't have mattered. I was going to remind.
I don't like doing this kind of stuff. I really don't.
You don't. And you're not going to like what I'm about to do to you next. So, everyone.
Makes me want to drink.
I'm about to back myself out of the screen. And I'm going to allow Toni to introduce herself for those of you all who do not know the Toni Shaw. I'm gonna let her tell you about you.
Don't back out now.
I'm backing out. You talk to the people. Here you go.
Hi everybody. My name is Toni Shaw. I am the owner of Shaw Photography Group, and I have known Renita for way too long. But it's okay. I'm going to keep her. I started this photography journey roughly, and I hate to say this because I really don't remember exactly when, but I'm going to say roughly about going on now 12, 13 years, something like that. And this journey that I have gone on has really taught me a tremendous amount. So when I first started, I had quit my job, and I did not know what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure how to do it. That was photography. That was the only thing that I had at the moment that I knew that I could probably do and make something of it. I did not want to go back to work because I was sick of the experience. So from that moment on, some of you that have been following me know that when I quit my job, I had nothing else. I had about 3 months of time to get myself together and determine if I was going to move on with this or if I was going to go and grab a job, any kind of job, just to get by and get through. Well, I'm here now, years later, and I have been published by a numerous amount of magazines, Essence. Um, I can't even name them all. I'm just totally like overwhelmed by the fact that I have been a published photographer, which I actually didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a big thing. So yeah, when it happened and people were like, "Oh, you're published," I didn't even know what that really meant. How'd you get published? So I didn't try. I just worked hard at what I was doing. I have a daughter. I'm Nicole. She's 25, just freshly married. And my mother. I'm an only child. I'm trying to just think of things that I can tell you quickly about myself. My background is art, fine art, and I began painting as a young child, and painted all the way through college, WSSU. I actually attended North Carolina Central. For those of you who are in the local area, I did attend a couple of classes there. And I've just been on that journey of just doing the things that I love to do. But with that being said, I've also become this leader that I did not realize I would become. It wasn't by choice, it was just by the fact that I ended up doing the type of things that I was doing. People began to follow me, people began to question, ask me questions about my process, the things that I was doing, how I did it. And voila, I'm this leader. I started working with, um, you know, photographers all over the world, literally all over the world. So, to my surprise, I've become this leader. But I don't know if Renita wants me to go into the rest of this, but I became a leader that I say, without listeners. Okay. I am a leader without listeners. Well, what does that mean? Um, the most frustrating thing for me is to have someone contact me, say that they need me, say that they want me to help them. And as a leader, the leader that I am, I'm very passionate about people being successful, because I feel like if you're successful, then I'm successful. If you do the things that you need to do based on the things that I'm trying to tell you and teach you, then you're going to be successful, and hopefully more successful than what people say that I am and what I feel like I am. I just thought I I really truly I want to be able to create this, um, community of people, specifically photographers, that can prosper from one another. But going back to what I was saying, is the most frustrating thing that I can say is having that person contact me and not listening to the things that I'm trying to tell them that will help them be successful, or help them be even more successful. Um, it can be exasperating when you're trying to communicate with someone, but you know that what you're saying is going in one ear and out the other. I know many of you have heard that, terminology before. Um, we will label it sometimes as, arrogance, being arrogant, that person being arrogant. We'll label it as a person being defensive, unwilling to admit to their mistakes, um, the lack of training, things of that nature. Uh, I personally feel like it just has to do with the drive, or the lack thereof. The job that I do, the way that I do it, and the success that has come with it, has been solely based on, commitment. And when you have, a person that's committed, I think that, um, you have to just kind of block all the noise out and just focus solely on you. Focus solely on the process, on what you want to accomplish, what you're trying to accomplish. Otherwise, you can call it quits. You cannot make any excuses. And it's tough. I hear people say, well, I can't do this because, of my daughter, my baby, that I don't get off work until late. I, have to do this. If you truly, 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 really want to be successful, you have to learn to sacrifice. Okay. And for those people who are successful leaders, that's the reason that they have become successful, is because they have sacrificed way too many things, that we really don't want to sacrifice. But it's a necessity, it's a part of the job. Um, when I tell you we have a lot to learn. Okay, we have a lot to learn, but the only way that we're going to learn is that we have to listen, and we have to do what is going to make us happy, but we're going to have a support system to be able to do that successfully.
Tony, let's start off with the fact that you said about 90 billion things in like 3 minutes. 90 billion things in 3 minutes. And I will tell you all, she is one of my people who's like, I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. I don't know why you want me on the show. I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's start off with, you have taught so many lessons in 3 minutes. But we are going to unpack a lot of this. But yes, but in her mind, she's not a leader. Yes, she is. She's a leader. We're going to touch on that too.
I don't want to be a leader.
I
didn't volunteer to be a leader.
I don't think that God cared.
If I'm going to step into that role, then and sacrifice my time and my energy, I want people to be all in. And I think part of my problem is that the drive that I have, I want other people to have. Realistically, I know that everybody cannot be that way, but I want that for people that bad. So, Jesus, in this industry that I am in, like I realize I'm telling people, you got to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. If you do this, this is how I got this. And then I look at something they post, and then it's like, boo boo.
Like you want to reel it all back.
And I want to scream because I'm like, I know you remember this. I know that you've heard me say this, but you just want to put whatever you want to put out there anyway. And you know what? After a while, as a leader, you just want to do this.
I'm going to tell you the reason why, though. It's heartbreaking. It's frustrating. It makes you mad. But the reality is, and this goes for anybody, that in leadership, we all have to remember, as much as we want it for other people, one, they have to want it for themselves. Two, the only person we can control is ourselves. The only that you can control is you. And so you can control what information you give out. You can control what resources you provide. You can control what connections you give. But at the end of the day, they have to do it. Whatever it is, whether it be pay attention to the f-stop that I told you, or the shutter speed, because I like to, whenever I'm talking to Toni, I really like to go out and talk to I love just doing that. If I told you to buy a C-stand and I told you to get a sandbag to keep your sand down so you didn't waste your money, if I told you to do these things and you still go to that shoot, you don't take an assistant, you didn't get the stick that I told you and your light starts bending, and you got a whole stand and you lost your stand and your light because you didn't bring a sandbag, whose fault?
You're shooting on auto and not manual.
Don't mess around and shoot on auto and not manual, and you charge people for photography.
You're cropping people's limbs off. You got people
you got to write shit.
Like
that's not what she said.
See, okay, so but that's what I'm saying. See, okay, this is what bothers me. You are not a photographer, right? But you remember, and you've been around me long enough, just as well as many of the people that are in my circle, which is pretty big. And you know these rules. Why can't they?
Because we like looking on you. We got to remember the stuff so we can annoy you.
So everybody wants to be a business owner. Everybody today is a business owner. Okay. But here's what they got in my opinion, they got 4 things that I see happens with business owners. 1, the lack of commitment. 2, the lack of understanding. 3, the lack of research. And 4, the 4th thing would be the lack of practice.
Can we start off and say that goes with, that's not just for photographers. That's any business owner. So I want people to understand that, leaders, as you're listening to this, or we're living in this 2021 pandemic times, everybody owns a business, got to have a side hustle, but you
Right.
wondering why none of your hustles are really hustling right.
Yeah.
These four things: lack of commitment, lack of understanding, lack of research, and lack of practice. I don't care if all you are doing is, having an Amazon business. If you don't practice getting those packages to the place on time, if you don't practice making sure that you keep counting your inventory and your whatever your processes are going to be, if you don't practice those, you're going to suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I this I don't. I think I'm a little confused and baffled. And I've talked to you about this before. Is, why is it that people will spend their money, their hard-earned money, on trying to get help, but then when they get the help, they don't listen. Um, and I'm totally baffled. So what I want to say to some of the leaders, which may be completely, offsides, but don't waste your time.
I don't think that's out of bounds.
Don't waste your time. And the reason I say that is because trying to help other people who don't want to be helped can hinder you from reaching your goals.
Mm.
That's what I feel.
But the thing is, some of it though, I'll venture to say this. Maybe that person is a practice. Maybe that person is a practice because they heard you, and some of them hear it and they're there to hear it. They took very extensive notes, but the part of the listening process that they don't do is actually apply what they heard. They don't
Yeah.
finish the listening process. So
But
listening
which
is a
goes
full
back to
process.
the commitment.
Right, right. They're not committed and they don't apply. So I won't say it's a complete waste of time unless you had somebody who's going to pay at a different price bracket or more people who are going to pay and you just chose that one person. But you're still practicing the craft of maybe mentoring or coaching, or maybe you're practicing a workshop. Maybe only one person out of those 50 people that came to that workshop apply what you said. So maybe, just maybe, those
Ooh,
other
that's a
people are practice.
yeah.
I know. I know. I know.
It's
I have people who say like they want leadership coaching. They'll come to get it. And I will work with them for months. And do they apply a single thing that I taught them?
But why? What
No.
is that missing? What is that? What is that? What is that? I mean, okay, is it the lack of commitment? Is it the lack of understanding? Is it the lack of did they realize what they would get into? Because this is what I think. Some people who do come, and talk to me and ask me a lot of questions, they usually say they'll start off saying, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want my work to look like yours." And then by the time I hit them with everything that I do, how I do it, the things I'm asking them to do, it's like radio silence.
Well, I
Like
think there's a combination.
they disappear off the face of
Oh,
the earth.
right. But I think there's a combination of things going on in that particular situation. First and foremost, it becomes a place of inauthenticity. So they're trying to be just like the Toni Shaw, but the reality is they are not the Toni Shaw. They are whoever they are, and they have never taken the time to figure out who they are, what their style is, because they're so busy trying to be the Toni Shaw. But then maybe some people, they really did not understand what it took. And I think this is where a lot of new business owners especially fall into this trap. They thought it was
Mhm.
one thing and they realized all the work that it takes to be the Toni Shaw or their version of the Toni Shaw. Oh my gosh, it really takes this much time. I haven't slept in 3 days. I haven't da 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 da. I can't go to the club. I wanted to get high last week. I couldn't even smoke because I had to pay attention and focus. Like, some people don't get all that
Yeah.
goes into being the thing that they see. They don't know the work. They don't know the real sacrifice. I mean, the sleep thing is a deal breaker for people. If they
Yeah.
can't get some sleep, drinking is a real deal breaker for people. They can't get drunk. not eating.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have legitimately sat here and forgotten that I did not eat all day.
Right, right. Oh, I'll go a full day, and not know that I haven't eaten, but I am so invested in what I'm doing. I, just what yesterday I got up and left North Carolina at 1 a.m. to go to Maryland. I came back last night from Maryland at 8:30 p.m. I grabbed something for breakfast, but worked all the way through lunch and did not want to stop until I got what I need to get done. And I think as a person who wants to be in business, it's not even about the leadership, but just a person who just wants to be in business or a leader. It they have to um, they have to understand that sometimes you have to go without.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was going to say something, but I kind of lost it. Um, I push myself. I push myself a lot. And I think what I was going to say is, if you don't know how to push yourself, or if you are the person who always has to be pushed and prodded, then it's going to be a lot tougher for you to get the job done, because everybody else should be worried about taking care of themselves. Very seldom do I have the opportunity to call a Renita and say, "Hey, Renita, get out there and go, girl." If you waited on me, boy, I would probably you'd be done. But I went, quite part of the day without eating, and some of the people that were with me, I know they were starving, but I was like, "Ooh, I hope they have the energy to push themselves, because I don't have time. I don't have time to push them and say, 'Hey, come on.'" I know you're hungry. I didn't want to mention food because
But if you are hungry, you better pack yourself a pack of naps.
and yeah, I had
You
to
better
tell
eat some
somebody
crackers, have
that
some water.
I did tell somebody that one time. Say, get grabbing naps. We gotta go, but we gotta go. But you know, it's a huge sacrifice, and it's a huge as a leader. It's a huge responsibility, and that's why I say I don't like being a leader, because I think leaders sometimes are seen, or they tend to be seen as, mean, a bully, um, you know, all those bad things that they tell me that I am. Some of the people who don't understand me, but what those who get to know me, they realize I'm not being mean. I'm being very direct. I'm telling you things that's going to step on your toes, and it's probably honest. I'm just, it's your truth. You just don't want to admit it. Um, I want you to understand that what I'm saying to you is, something that, if whatever I say to you, you'll know where I stand.
That is
Pretty
true.
pretty much at any given time, you know where I stand. Some people say you don't have a filter. No, it's not that. It's not that I don't have a filter. I can keep my mouth closed if I wanted to, but I just need you to know how I feel about the situation. I don't really care if you like it or not. It's okay. It's up to you. If you choose to like it, talk to me. Never talk to me again. But as a leader, I think it's my responsibility. Like how, who is it, Renita, that they say that if you have to tell, when you tell somebody, your child, something, you've given them empowerment, you've empowered them, but uh, it's where they can't make any excuses for not being told.
Right,
Okay,
right.
I can't remember how that saying goes, but if I've told you something about yourself or about your work, you have no excuses anymore. You can't hide behind it. And I'm the type of person, that leader, who makes sure that you don't hide behind your gifts and your talents.
Right.
And sometimes that doesn't feel comfortable to people. So, there's that. I mean, my mind is racing. There's just so much that I want to say. There's things that I'm trying not to say. um, but
But but can we touch back on something that you said earlier? You talked about falling into leadership and becoming a surprise leader. At what point in time did you actually accept your leadership title, even though it was clearly not a title actually written on paper? When did you accept the fact, okay, I am a leader, as much as you don't like being a leader because of some of the things that come along with it? But when did you just accept the fact that this is it? Now, what am I going to do with it?
when I think it was when I'm gonna say it was about 5 years ago when people started asking me to do photo walks. And a photo walk, for those of you who don't know, is where I maybe get a model or two, get a bunch of photographers together, and we go out and shoot, or I teach people how to shoot. It can be one or the other, if not both. And the first one that I did had about 25 or 30 some people from as far as I think Florida, Baltimore, Maryland area. It was a bunch of people. And I think that was, even though I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I had a lot of support. I had a lot of support from people, including yourself. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Um, and then I had one every month. So I think I would say roughly around that time in that period. Um, I think I I'm uncomfortable with that leadership thing because I'm a I'm a sole proprietor. you know, it's all just me. I do all the work pretty much. Um, I will hire people when I need to hire them for certain jobs and things of that nature. But otherwise, I do the marketing. When I need to, I do the design work. I do whatever it is. I do it all. So I don't feel like there's anybody behind me that I need to lead to anywhere.
I
Does that
wish, yo, that makes a lot of sense. But how I wish I could have the members. And if any of them are here, I want you to type in the comments. I wish I could have the members of your Facebook groups alone chime in and talk about whether or not you're a leader. Now, did you all hear me say Facebook groups? That wasn't just one. She she is the founder of more than one Facebook group. And then these Facebook groups, they're not just one or two people. They're lots. Lots of people. Why do I know this?
Right.
Because we had the privilege of being there.
Yeah,
So
you put yourself in my groups.
I did.
and,
And
and people are like, who is that person, Renita? Is she a photographer? I'm like,
nope.
no.
But I also go on there and I talk to them from time to time, which I haven't done lately. I need to jump in on them, but talk to them about and encourage them to be better leaders of their own business. So whether you're a sole proprietor or if you have 5,200 people in your business, at the end of the day, you're leading a business. You're leading even your clients. You're leading your clients to doing the things that they need to do. In your case, Toni, you lead a bazillion people and just in the Facebook groups. This is not including anybody you've ever spoken to at a conference, anybody you ever looked at their work and called them on the phone and said you jacked. None of that. And it just cracked me. It befuddles me that she still says, yeah,
Yeah,
leader, not so
it
sure.
just doesn't. I don't do well. I don't think I do well with titles, period. Titles to me are just, everybody has to have a title for some reason. And
Well,
I'm just like,
photographer,
why
you just
can't we
tell
just
people
be
what you do.
why can't we just be a person? Right?
You
Why
can,
can't
but
we just
people will get right confused. They're going to go to the photographer for dance lessons.
Like, I don't understand.
That won't end well.
I mean, seriously, it just feels weird.
But titles
It just feels.
also bring responsibility. To be a leader, I mean, there is a responsibility and accountability there that it can be very uncomfortable because, especially for, and I will say it's more uncomfortable for people who are passionate, who are
Yeah,
truly passionate about their craft. They are going to, at this point, or passionate about things in life, because at this point, if I'm a leader, then I got to be a leader. I can't be a leader. I got to be the leader
yeah,
of leaders. I need to be a leader. I've got to do that thing. So if I'm going to accept that title, that means I got to go for it. That is
yeah,
scary as fire if you don't really want to do it. But sometimes, like you fall into this position where you're it. Tag, you're it. You have been tagged. And these people are looking at, so Toni, this is okay. So for those of you all who do not know where the Toni Shaw came from, I literally started calling her the Toni Shaw and it caught on. And I think it is one of the best things I have ever done. You see her shirt? The Toni Shaw. It's great.
somebody told me to own that. They were
You
like, you
need
know
to
what?
own it.
Somebody told me, and it was a photographer, and I'm like, how you all, how how'd y'all even listen?
She is the Toni Shaw.
Let me just first say this, you guys. If you're on social media, just know somebody is looking at your every single word, thought, like you name it. I mean, everything. So for photographers, thank you, sweetheart. For photographers to see me and see and they start calling me the Toni Shaw was scary.
It is the best.
Okay.
But see, it's because of people like Lois. She said Toni Shaw Photography Group is hands down one of the best resources for shooting online. She often goes live and gives the viewer behind the scenes information. She is a leader and a teacher. I didn't just
I'm
make that up.
crazy is what I am. I'm crazy.
You are
I'm
crazy,
crazy.
but people like crazy. There are whole people who made whole television careers off crazy. People love crazy,
But you know what, Lois?
but you're crazy with the backup.
Lois, since you're listening, what concerns me, and the reason this kind of popped into my brain was I don't mind leading. It bothers me. It's uncomfortable. I don't mind leading, but I feel like a lot of times in this industry, based on some of the people that I've worked with, and I work with a lot of people, they just don't listen. So who am I? Who am I really leader? Who am I really leading? Who am
Lois,
I leading? I
Lois.
just low. Is it just Lois?
It's not just Lois, it's a few more, but since they haven't said anything, I'm not going to start rolling names. There are some people who may not do everything that we lead them to. And this is
Oh my
most,
God.
but they might do one thing, something. And some people, it just takes them longer to process it.
But here's the thing, and I feel this way for myself. They don't know how close to the edge they are to being successful. That's what bothers me. Listen to the people who want you to be successful. At our very best, we're not going to try to lead you down the wrong path. We want you to be just as successful as the next person. So, it's frustrating to put your energy into somebody and you walk away and they haven't gained, well, you've dropped all the little nuggets, okay, that you can possibly drop, but they put them in a mesh bag with a hole in it.
But somewhere, especially if they were gooey nuggets, some of that residue is in that bag. Yes, it is. And Lois says she is not the only one. And so I hope that people are listening out there, even if you don't consider yourself a leader, if you consider yourself a follower, because leaders are followers too. Some of your best leaders are your best followers. So even if you are simply a follower, which I would beg to differ, work with me for give me 2, maybe 3 good weeks, and I can prove to you you're a leader. But if even if you are just a follower, hear this from leaders. Leaders get frustrated as fire when they see your potential more than you do. When they give you all of these resources, all of this opportunity. Literally, I have watched Toni put people in a place. Take their whole body, put them in the spot, and they still don't take the opportunity. Do you know
Yeah.
how frustrating that is? It is. You want to say
It's,
all the bad words,
yeah.
and some leaders say more of them than I do, but you want to say them all, but
Yeah.
you don't, because then you have to. It goes back. You have to go back into this kind of self-preservation thing. At this point, I'm not going to
Yeah.
allow you to take me there. I'm
That's
not.
it. That's
As
it.
much as you are
That's
not listening to me, you shall
mhm.
not take my
Yeah.
joy, wreck my spirit, make me revert to things that I used to be. Because you
That's
won't
why
do it.
that's that's where I am. I've been there. I've been in a little funk today. Partially because I'm a little tired, a little jet lag from the trip. But I saw some things online from some people that I know, photographers that I know, who posted some subpar work. And they have the opportunity to be great. Okay. Um, but I don't think they even realize that they don't want it, that they don't want it bad enough. Um, and I'm trying to figure out like what can we do for people like that who just don't want to listen, who's doing things ass backwards, um, who's putting out subpar work. Now listen, I'm gonna just say this: I didn't come in this field shooting like Annie Leibovitz. I didn't come in this in this world shooting like some of the top notch photographers around the world. My work looked like boo boo. Here's the difference: I didn't have anybody to help me.
Mm-hmm.
I taught myself. Okay, and when I talk to people about working with me, one of the things that I tell them is this: I don't want anyone to have to struggle the way that I struggle to get to the point that I am now. I'm not even where I really want to be. I'm not doing the work that I would love to do. Okay. But I'm still trying in the midst of doing everything that I am doing. I'm juggling all the other things. But
Totally. Oh, yeah. Will you take a moment though and tell us what it looked like to do it by yourself? Because I know you're saying you did it by yourself, but there's certain resources and things that you tapped into.
yeah.
Um, what did doing it by yourself look like, and what sacrifices did you have to make at that time in order to reach the place where you are now?
So I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. I lost your connection for a moment. What did it look like by myself? I learned how to edit by and literally kind of by accident. Um, I just kept doing the same thing over and over again. If it worked, if it seemed like it was working, if I got good feedback from people in social media, um, I kept doing it until it became natural. I listen to podcasts. I listen to online communities that specialize in photography, and I shot every day, literally every single day. I found something to shoot. I found something to um, read pertaining to photography. I slept, drank, and ate photography for I know a good 5 to 7 years solid. Now I still do those type of things, but when I first started, it was shooting anything and everything that I could during any time that a family member was here, was at my home. They come in for Thanksgiving, for New Year's, for Christmas. I drug them to my studio. My my studio was actually in the same spot that this place is now. It was my stepfather's um, man cave, and it was a mess. Okay, it was like a huge storage area, but I got the what I thought at the time was the best lights, which were the actual cheapest lights forever. Okay, I'm not even gonna tell you the name of the company, but I brought people out in the studio and I put up a light and I started shooting. I just kept shooting and kept shooting and kept practicing, and I just kept building on. It was like a stair step. I kept building on blocks. I kept building on top of everything. So when I saw that things weren't working or wasn't getting the right look, then I would change it and I would try something different. And I would, go back and study somebody else's work and try something again. And a lot of photographers would frown upon this. Let me tell you what they would do. In the industry, they would say, "Oh, you shouldn't take your clients and practice." I practice on my clients. That's what I did. I practice and I let my clients know that, hey, wait a minute, before you leave, you got a couple more seconds that I want to try something. And I kept trying something and I kept trying something and I kept trying something over and over again. And that's how I got to the point that I'm at now.
Wow. So, question for you. When did you start liking your own work?
When?
Yep, when? Do you remember?
Probably about maybe 3 years ago, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago.
And you've been shooting how long?
And it's still okay. Literally, like, um, I can say that one more time.
I say, and you've been shooting how long?
For about 13 years,
So for 10
roughly.
years.
Now, I actually, professionally,
Yeah.
about 13 years professionally. I actually started shooting with a point and shoot camera on auto with my daughter. So that's been 25. So I actually own the cam. And, before that, I took some classes and stuff in film. But professionally, knowing a little bit more about manual shooting, et cetera, about 13 years or so, roughly. Tanya picks at me about that because I really don't know roughly when I started. I had to go back and look. But what I want to say was, um, I can shoot something today, and 3 months later, I can look at it and be like, oh my God, I hate this. So I see growth in what I do. I see the mistakes in what I do every time that I shoot. So, I'm still growing. I'm still growing. And I
Right.
don't I don't fall in love. Now, one thing I don't do, I don't fall in love with my work. And I try to tell a lot of the people that I mentor never to do that because you get stuck. You think that what you have here is the best and that you're loving it. And it's, oh my God, I just love this color. And you'll never hear me say stuff like that.
Right.
Never. I mean, I have some of my favorite images here and in my other studio. They were some of my favorite, but
I've
it's
been looking
but
for a picture of me in one of those studios. I haven't seen it yet, but we're
you're on
gonna
my
look.
business card. You're on my business card.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that it's a real good practice to fall in love with your work because you're going to stay there and keep doing the same thing. That's my opinion. I think you're just going to stay and stay, and you're going to be spinning your wheels right there. You're not going to know what's out there differently from that you can choose from. Another technique, a different type of lighting system or whatever. I think it's always evolving. That's why I'm always busy. I'm always trying different things. I'm always just think my mind is always going. I have some things that I want to do and been wanting to do for years and years and years. Eventually, I'm going to get to it. Um, I just don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to stay in the same place.
Right.
I
But the
just,
thing is, I think that's beautiful. And I think that's something that can once again carry over to multiple industries. So, but I mean, I think as a leader, that is a great example too. So you can really enjoy something you did. Like I'm literally right now looking at, if I look straight ahead of me, I see one, two, three different images from Toni. As you all can see, and if I look over here, there's a real big, and so I can say I love them all, but I can also see a different point in Toni's journey because they were
yeah,
all done in different years. And I
yeah.
can't say that any of them is not great, but I see the different pieces of the evolution of Toni in them. And
Can I say? Can I say
yes,
they're not
yes,
great?
yes, you can say it, but hey, I'm
Some
not.
junk.
But to leaders in your own work and whatever you do. So I'm an educator by trade. I am also a performer. I am also a writer. And I look at some of the things that some places I performed. I look at some of the things that I've written. I'm looking at poor students. Sometimes I feel sorry for the students that I taught the first year, but they made it. Most of them through graduation. They went to college. God bless them. I don't know if my class helped them or hurt them, but I think about some of the ways that I was, and as a leader, even as an emerging leader at the beginning of it, for me to show that I learned the lesson, to show that I'm going to evolve, to show that I'm going to keep attempting to get better. I think that that is a leadership skill all in itself. So when I think about leadership, I think of it's a bunch of soft skills coming together in harmony to make for some great helping of other people. And having the ability to acknowledge your own crap and self improve, or acknowledge your crap, or listen to somebody else tell you that that's crap, and you desire to get better, you work to get better, you do the research to find out what's
Yeah,
better, and then you apply it.
yeah,
Dang, William, that's a good leadership skill. Because if you have a leader who never wants to get better, if you have a leader that is always complacent, if you have a leader that is
yeah,
completely stagnant, then they are not doing you justice,
yeah.
because you're going to skill out. You're going to
That's
phase.
true.
They're at a plateau, and eventually you're going to hit that, and you're going to need to go further. And if you don't choose a new leader, you're never going to move because they didn't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow. Yeah, yeah. You just made me think of something because there were a lot of photographers that I would go online and look at, and some of them were local, and they didn't even know that I was looking at their work. But I was like, "Oh, I like their work. Oh, I like their work." And when I go back now and look at their work, I can tell that I have grown and
You
I've
outgrew them.
outgrown. Yeah, and that my work is stronger for X reasons. So I don't know what happened to them on their journey. I'm not certain, and it's
Maybe they
okay.
fell in love
It's
with it.
it's their journey. I'm more concerned about my journey, and
Right.
so the mere fact that I could see that I have outgrown that specific person, and I could easily just. And if it's somebody that I knew or know, I don't mind taking their advice because they've been where I want to be. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? There are still nuggets and things that they can give me. But um, it is it was enlightening for me and exciting for me more so to see that I could see myself grow because some people grow and they don't see themselves growing. But I could actually see myself grow every so many months or I look at this work from this year and that year. Somebody told me, hey, I can always tell that this is Toni Shaw's work. And I'm like, I don't know what you all are talking about. I don't know what you all mean. And one day I um, made an album for myself. And the album consisted of just all my images, just random stuff. And I put them in the album, got the album, I opened it up, and I was like, oh my God, all of these have the same tone, the color, the feel. I see what you're saying there. Like these things I don't think about. I just don't. So you know, I think it's just always amazing when I hear people talk about, my work and them wanting to quote unquote be like me, because I don't even know who me is in that regard. I'm still learning me. I'm still trying to figure me out.
Right.
Um,
But it it somehow, some ways, and I think that every good leader does this, even in your own evolution of becoming who you will become the next part of you, there's something about your fingerprint that is always left, and they can tell that that person has been touched by that leader, and I mean touched in a good way, been impacted, let me use that word, by that leader, because something about what you say, the way you represent at the core of you will always be you. So I look at all of these different pictures. To me, I know they're all Toni Shaw. And I think other people who know of your work would say, oh, Toni did all of those, didn't she? Yes. Even though, like, one is like completely bright colors, the other one is like outside, that one's inside, that one's, really random space of
mhm,
time,
mhm.
but they all have Toni Shaw isms, and they were all done in different years.
Mhm.
There's just
Okay.
something about, but it's just like when people meet other people who have been under your leadership and under your tutelage, even if there was somebody who was under your tutelage 15 years ago, meet somebody who just joined the Toni Shaw revolution, they're going to have a connecting point and say,
You
oh,
better
yeah,
not say.
Tony's still Toni.
If I hear anybody say something about Tony Revolution, I'm coming to get you. You hear me?
Build a bridge, get over it. And I'm going to say, yeah, I said it. It is on, it's recorded. You can go back and watch
Delete.
it. But there's something about a good leader, even in all of the change. And leaders who listen are leaders who will change because they're going to hear, they're going to reflect, they're going to evolve. Leaders who have followers who don't listen, they're going to change because they're
Yeah.
going to change about who they continuously and what type of person they allow to be under their direct
Yeah.
followership. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I talk to some of my students, and we talk about the circles of leadership. There's the inner circle, which is typically you, and then there's a circle right out of that side of that circle, which is circle two, which are your direct followers. Then there's a circle outside of that circle who are your indirect followers, who usually hear
Right.
from your direct followers, or just people you don't really know who follow you. And then there's this circle four, which is one of my favorite circles, with the people who are haters. They absolutely can't stand you according to their mouth, but they are still watching everything you do. And
Everything.
sometimes a circle four will quickly become a circle two because they stop hating on you and they learn to appreciate. Circle twos can become circle fours, circle threes can become circle twos. They can go all over the place, but you have
That's
these
true.
different levels of connection to the center point of which is the leader, that center circle with. I have some people who are 1.5s, but they will never be ones because they are not me. So they will never
Right.
fully know me. And
Right.
so all of these different followers who are following you, and but those people who you allow to be in that circle too, and for anybody who tries to steal this, it's mine. I'm gonna trademark this. But if you try to be in that circle too, um, that is a special place of privilege. You are acknowledging them, and they are acknowledging you. And those circle twos, you can boot out, or they can self boot. But usually, people don't go from a circle two to a three. They go from a two to a four. Like they got to go.
Yeah.
And if you are privileged enough to be inside of that circle too, count yourself lucky for if any leader chooses to allow you in there. But then
Mhm.
also understand that access is not always, it's a privilege, it's not a right. So it's not always
Yeah.
going to be granted to you. And so as leaders change and leaders evolve and leaders learn from those in their fellowship who don't listen, that you may
Mhm.
learn that your access is denied because you were in circle two, but now you got to go away. I'm gonna put you in circle three. You might get mad and be in circle four next week, but sometimes you got access denied. I can't continue to let you in here.
Now, we talked about something before we went live, which was, booting people out sometimes. And I failed to tell you. Now, in some of the groups that I'm in, I have booted some people out.
Mm, not me though.
Oh, yeah. I, I have. Because one of the things that I like to do is make sure that everybody feels comfortable and that everybody is, we can't make everybody happy, but we don't want to make everybody or anybody upset, or feeling uncomfortable. So when there are people that are in some of those groups that I'm in, being an admin or being the leader of that group, the creator of the group, if they come in a tone that is not fitting, and I've given them ample opportunity to get their act together, I'll get rid of you.
Yeah.
I have done that. Yeah,
And I
I've
mean,
got a block. I've got a block list.
who's mad at that? Nobody but the devil. I mean, but the
Mhm.
thing is, where Tony's talking about a Facebook group, leaders, we need to be looking at Facebook groups, Facebook, Instagram. You just because you want to have a certain followership count doesn't mean that you need to leave it there. Don't have toxic people on your
I
lists,
won't.
your email list. Don't let them in. I mean, but then there's also your life. You can do this in
Yeah,
real life. I know we practice this doing this virtually a lot. You can do it in real life. You can
yeah,
access deny people to your real life. Like they don't have to be able to come to your house anymore if they know where you live. They don't have to have access to your phone number. Block is it's on the cellular device, and they even had it when you had a home phone. For those of you,
yeah,
it was. I can't remember what the digits was. I know star 67 lets you dial out and they don't know who you are. Star 69 told you who they were who called. But there is a blocked feature. And if you don't know, call your service
I
provider.
I actually realized that I had blocked one of my family members. Now the problem is I can't remember why,
Don't, but it was probably a good reason.
but I've blocked a few. But this one specifically, I was like, huh, wonder why I did that. Mm, you know?
Don't
Oh
mess up
well,
with the Tony Shaw. She might block you, not remember why, but just know that she didn't say she was trying to unblock them.
right, exactly.
Right. But
So yeah,
so
I can be pushed now. I can. There's some conversations you and I have had. You be like, why you do this? And I forgot some of those type of things that I have done. I just didn't. I forgot to tell you. I'm old, forget things. But I will shut people out. I will shut people out. They just kind of disappear, and when they disappear out of sight, out of mind, I forget their names. I'm already bad at names, but don't be on my bad list because I'm really gonna forget you then. So I
well,
will, unfortunately.
well, Tony,
But
we have
yeah,
talked about a lot about leaders without listeners, but also the sacrifice and what it takes and the work it takes to be a successful leader. But if we were to leave everybody here with one important thing, and it could be either something you've already said or something you haven't had a chance to say yet, what would be that one thing?
when you have nothing to learn, you have no need to listen.
Wow, that's a goodie. When you have nothing to learn, you have no need to listen. Well, honey, I'm gonna be listening for the rest of my life because I feel like I'm gonna have something to learn for the rest of my days. Hello, somebody. Addy addy. Well, Toni, the Toni Shaw. I know. Oh, we got somebody on here already. Hold up. Before we go, Sheila Patterson is joining the revolution. She's gonna
Oh my
join
God,
the Toni Shaw
Sheila,
revolution.
I am going to hurt you.
I just wanted to let you know there was already a member or
Oh my
three or
God.
more of the
Oh my
revolution.
God.
I
All
love it.
y'all get on my nerves.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But Toni, I know that there are more people who want to join the Toni Shaw Revolution.
Stop.
Where can they find you? Where can they find
No,
the
wait. Let me just say this. Hold on. What y'all don't understand about me is I am an introvert. I don't like talking to people. Okay? I don't like everything about an introvert. They were like, no, Toni, you do this, do this. When I tell you I am an introvert, those people who truly know me know that I am. I would love to be in a room and stay there and not talk to anybody.
But then she
Okay?
has people like me in her life.
So this whole stuff like this, stop this, y'all. Stop it. Just stop. Oh my God.
Now where can they find you? How can they find you?
I don't know if I want them to find me or not.
If you don't tell them, I will.
Oh my God. Oh, I hate you right about now.
I love you too. So Facebook.
Shaw, Shaw Photography Group is my website, www.shawphotographygroup.com. And that's where all
Uh-huh.
my work is. That's where my training information is, and etc. My Instagram is the Shaw Photography Group. I hate you for this. The Shaw. I'm looking at Shaw Photography Group across the bottom. You just feel my nerves. My IG is the Shaw Photography Group. Um, my TikTok, which I've been trying to build, is the Shaw Photography Group, and I'm on Pinterest as the Shaw Group. Pinterest is Shaw Group. I think that's enough.
Can you tell me where
Facebook.
you're on Facebook at least?
Facebook. Okay, so I don't use Facebook like most people do. So Facebook is Shaw Photography Group. Okay, there's that. I am getting close to 5,000 people on my personal page. And I do go through a vetting process. So if you don't have a profile, you probably won't be accepted as a friend. But under Facebook is Toni Shaw, ToniShaw. And I share a lot there. I do share a lot there. So
Okay, so I'm gonna give you all her business stuff. You
you
can
have
try
contact.
Toni Shaw. She probably not going to accept you. She got 8 million followers. She can't only have 5,000.
Okay, for everybody who's watching at the bottom, that says Pinterest.
It does say Pinterest instead of Pinterest. Ignore the E.
Ignore the E.
If
Teacher.
you don't know that really meant Pinterest,
Hey, teacher.
for you, I will do this.
Please do that. That bothers me. Oh, I feel like I need to be in a forest somewhere.
I don't know
Pine
what.
tree. There we go.
There you go.
And I hope that's right.
I hope it is too. If not, just follow her on Instagram and TikTok.
And TikTok. I love TikTok.
But please follow her on TikTok because she likes
Yeah.
TikTok a lot.
I love TikTok a lot.
So the Shaw Photography Group on Instagram and the local TikTok, and Shaw Photography Group on the local Facebook.
On the local Facebook.
The local Facebook, not the forum one, the local one. Toni, I want to say thank you for agreeing to come on here, even when you didn't want to. Just like she didn't want to be a leader, but you see, she's that anyway as well.
This is it, people. This is it. It's a wrap.
That's what she says now. Hey, who knows where Leadership Live is gonna go? And I can almost guarantee you Toni's coming. She's gonna make that exact same face on the trip too.
Look at my hand. Can you see my hand shaking? See, look at my
Also,
hand.
leaders, please note that it is important, like Toni and I both realize, she is very introverted. I am actually an introverted extrovert, which nobody would ever believe.
Nope.
But you got to know yourself and know your limits and understand what you can and cannot pull off and know how you need to interact with your folks.
And this is one of them.
Right. But also know that some people may not be listening to you because maybe you're not showing up fully as who you really are.
Yeah.
But as I told you back in week 1, episode 1, that I was going to bring the heat for 52 weeks with 52 guests. Guest number 40. Have I let you down yet? Nope, haven't. I would advise you to start listening to me. Leaders without listeners. Listen, I told you I have now proven myself for 40 weeks. I don't know what else I'm going to have to do for you to really listen and really show up and show out here every single Sunday night at 9 o'clock. But regardless, I'm going to be on my A game, and so are my guests. The Toni Shaw showed up and showed out with her introverted self just for you because she hoped that somebody here tonight would listen. Somebody.
Thanks to those 2 listeners. I appreciate it.
It was more than 2. You got quite a few comments. But know that I love you. And I'll be right back here next Monday with yet another guest. You know they're going to be fire. I've proven myself for 40 weeks. 40 again. I've proven myself. Just listen to me. And be back here Monday night at 9 p.m. for another episode of Leadership Live. Know that I love you, love you, love you. And always, always, always keep your leadership all the way live. See you next week. Bye.